If you like what you see here, please hit the subscribe button below to be the first to know about new videos and free premium content.
Do what you weigh right now, Tom?
Yes, I can tell you every day. I weigh 150 even, 149.9.
So we're doing a blood lactate test, which is to set up his ideal training zones and check whether he's improved since the last test. And so it's 4 minutes per interval, and blood samples every 4 minutes, and heart rates and all sorts of things. And we should build a profile in real time and see where he's at. Just calibrating the incline. And you're what? You're my height, so you're
5'10".
151. Just save for the super pop this. So let's pop this sweat monitor on.
It is so nice outside. My buddy,
It's like
that's incredible.
yep.
In Antarctica.
In -12. I think we start. What do you think?
He needs to unlock this part of him. It's like, you're in a fucking race.
I said.
I'm not sure, actually.
Yeah, you have water 5 minutes later.
Right.
More, and you're like, I need.
And I wear the arm sleeves, tuck gels in the arm sleeves.
Really resting.
You know, by the time I'm...
Yeah, he should do the cycling test because I can do the VO2 at the same time on that. So if you cycle... Yeah, so this should be damn easy for you. So the sweat testing, right, the thing to remember with sweat testing is this is a snapshot of you. And really what you should do is gather data over time from your sweat. So this will give us those sort of buckets. There's kind of 3 buckets of sweat loss, right? Low, medium and high.
Right.
Low is under 500 milligrams an hour, moderate 500 to 1,000. Anything above 1,000 is a problem. So, you know, most people are in that low to moderate range, but if we find you, if this tells us during this test you're over 1,000, it's like, yeah, I definitely need salts.
Okay.
And if, say the data, say the technology is 20% wrong,
Right.
if it measures you at 1,300, who cares?
Right.
You need salts. If it measures you at 200, if it's 20% wrong, it doesn't matter. You don't need from perspective of not cramping and all that stuff. It's also about how you absorb your carbohydrates. If you're not taking in enough sodium, water and carbs in the right quantity for you, the absorption's down. That's when you get that horrible... Right. On you go, mate. 7.5, I think, is 8-minute pace. Spot on. Let's see what the first number is. 1.3, nice and low.
Easy money. How you feeling? Feel good. A little too good. Uh-oh. I know, it's dangerous. I can feel good for now. I'm running slow.
You're definitely looking stronger than last test, which is good news. You have to remember the carbon shoes are going to give you a lot on race day. You know, they are so much faster. So, alright, on you go. This is definitely not the end. You've got more because you can't even hear you breathing yet. You're fine, just run. Don't think, just run. That's it, mate. Great stuff. You've got more. That's not the top end. You've got a bit more, so keep going. You need to show what's at the top end today because if we don't know what it is, it's hard to know the full limitation of it. So do a bit more, right? Let's just stick with it. It's just intervals on a track. That's what you're thinking. All right, on you go. 10, 5. That's good. Yeah, okay. Come on, do whatever you can here. Use this clock on you and get to at least 45 minutes. You've got at least 45 on there. Okay, another hand. Well done, man. Right, well done.
Kick it.
Yeah, have a walk.
I have a mental block in the 5:30s.
Everyone does it. Yeah, people do. You can see it's more mental than, well, physically you're working hard, you're at 6.8. Let's take one more. Just keep walking for a minute. Does it feel dangerous?
Yeah, like how much long? I doubt.
You worry
I start
about
to doubt myself, just like of sustaining that, and it becomes an argument to keep going or to stop, and it's every step is like stop, no, stop, no, stop, no, until
That's normal.
the stop.
That's normal. So that's something
Wins.
to work on mentally. It's no one beats the test ever. You can't beat the test. It's designed to crack you, but there's crack points are different, and so there's definitely another. There's at least another 30 seconds. There's probably the ability to finish that. It depends what I put on the line for you. It's like, hey, your wife's going to die if you don't finish this.
Right.
You're going to finish
Right.
it. So it's just that, but it's not everybody wants to go there all the time. You can only go there very, very rarely. Like I did a 5K myself on the track last year, like you just don't want, right? It sucks, right? And I finished, I'm 54, I finished at 184 heart rate, right? Shouldn't be possible, right?
Crazy.
And I was on the floor like,
Yeah.
like I don't want to go there again.
Right.
Not for a while. I'll go there again in June this year or something. Right now, I'm like, yeah, I've done enough. So you can't always go too deep. So what we got today was really good.
I didn't think I could go there again,
Yeah.
and then I called you and said, let's do this.
Yeah. And
Lactate, and
the more you get used to it a bit, actually, also the more you play with it, and you realise it's a bit of a game. That there's nothing riding on it. You just
Right.
play with it. See what happens. What happens if I go a bit faster? You suddenly go, Christ. So for me, with the Great World Race, the thing with that was, I was going to run 5 miles a day, and I was thinking, that would be my biggest week in many years. I ran 70 miles. Because I just had to. I didn't have a chance to. I just had to get on.
comprehend with it.
I
You
just did
kept
it.
going.
And then all of a sudden, it's like the mind shift. The mind state shifts. That's why something like the Great World Race would be great for you also, because everyone goes into this like, oh my god, I don't think I can do this.
Right.
And so there's this huge doubt. Everyone goes to Antarctica, they hate it. It's like, oh my god, why am I doing this? 5 more, Christ. They do the third one, they're like, okay, well, Antarctica feels like a long way away. And then they do the fourth one, they're like, oh my god, I'm over halfway through. And then the fifth one's like, well, I've done 5.
I could do it.
Forgetting there's 2 more marathons in 2 days. So the 6th one is like, oh god, I forgot how hard it was. And then the 7th one is celebration. So, but the collective energy of the group is we're all going to finish now.
Right.
So that comes through. So it's very psychological, not just the physical side.
So I did for CIM.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wasn't willing. It wasn't an A race. It wasn't even the B race.
Yeah. So
So
why
I was like,
risk it?
why?
Exactly.
And now I'm fitter in theory.
No, now you are fit.
We'll see what the numbers say.
No, you are fit, for sure. What we should do, we should talk through the data on screen while you're. All
Okay.
right, so we've got test data from red was your first test back in October, and black is your test today in February. So we've got this is the increasing speeds across the bottom. These 2 lines down the bottom here, this is lactate in the blood, and these are the heart rates. So we see at every different pace, the shifts and the changes are measuring you exactly. So you can see firstly at every single speed your heart rate's much lower. So that's conditioning as well. That's fitness, but it's also the environment. You're in a more relaxed environment. That's helpful. So that's a big thing. And if it was just the fact that you were aerobically fitter, you call this a central adaptation. The heart and lungs are having to work less hard to produce the same pace, and it's quite dramatic, right? 150 heart rate used to be 830 pace.
Right.
Now at 150 heart rate, 730 pace. So that's a huge gain in your cardiovascular fitness. And then what we look at too is the lactate levels. So lactate levels, the basic overview is we're looking for, it's not exactly this, right? But normally below 2 millimoles is your zone 2. Everyone's a bit different. So actually yours was below 1.8 when we first did your first test. And today it actually is below 2. So when we're looking to set up zone 2, typically it's below 2 millimoles of lactate. So originally for you that was like just below 172 heart rate and about 725 pace.
Okay.
Well now that 7th minute pace, your lactate levels are dropped at every single speed. So your pace at the same effort, if you like, same metabolic effort, is now so much faster. 30 seconds a mile is a big gain in that zone. So what you'd also do, zone 2 is very replicable for a marathon, and we think of marathon pace around 2 millimoles. So if you think of 7-minute mile, 2 millimoles, that's actually, if we look at the chart here, 330, no, it's the wrong numbers. It would be actually be 303.30 because I haven't moved these across. 303.30. So that's totally doable, but you can also run a marathon a bit faster, and if you start there in negative split, that's how you're going to get a PR for your marathon, right?
So this is so interesting. So at 2 millimoles, that's my zone 2. That's the peak
That's
of
the
my
top
zone,
of zone 2. Yeah. Think of it as LT1, they call it, or aerobic threshold.
Okay, and that's where I could continuously flush out lactate as it's building?
It's actually not really building there. If you stay, that's the point why it's sustainable for a marathon. If you stay at 7-minute pace, your lactate's probably going to stay around 2 or maybe even drop a touch. But you're going to get tired because it's the strength of running that's going to be the hard part. But that's metabolically sustainable, and you're probably burning a lot of fat at that point too. So if we test you another day with a mask on and we check fats and carbs, we'll find this area here is very much about fat burning. So we've got this idea now, so your zones are very different. Also, we look at around 4 millimoles of lactate being threshold. Now, threshold being LT2. But it's not always that, right? Because we have to look at the top end. So let's just go to the top end for a second. Firstly, today, you ran further. In the past, you couldn't complete the 6-minute stage. Today, you completed the 6-minute stage, which is great. So that's an extra 2 minutes of running. And then you did 2 minutes 30 at 540 pace. So you've definitely increased your top end speed, which is you've increased your VO2 max. Heart rate at peak was the same today, but you've gone faster today, and lactate was identical. So your top end in terms of metabolics is identical sort of response, but a lot faster pace. So you definitely are aerobically fitter, so better VO2 max, and stronger. So this is great. But because you haven't got a lot of room above that, like you've got one more stage, then a little bit of this one. 630 relative to 540, they're quite close together.
Right.
So in order to improve you, we've got to make your top end faster. We've got to get you to complete this 540 stage, increase your VO2 max, so that this feels more sustainable. Because right now it doesn't feel sustainable, right?
Oh,
if I said, hey Cole, go and do a 10k at 630 pace, you'd be, hang on, that's my 5k pace. I can't do that. So that's why your threshold isn't at classic 4 millimoles here, because again, that's even closer to your peak. 4 millimoles relative to 6.8 is too tight. We need your peak lactate to go a bit higher, so you've got more anaerobic contributions, which would be a good thing. Because remember, you're a hybrid engine. You burn fats and carbs, and you operate aerobically and anaerobically. And this is the weakness right now. We need you to work the top end, your VO2 max, and your anaerobic conditioning, so that the whole of your engine is working together. And then this will feel more sustainable, and that'll feel even easier.
That's interesting. So we, after the 5K test, so I was at, it was at 555 or 552 minute per mile.
With carbon.
With carbon.
So it's really 622.
Right. And average heart rate was like 189.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah. And so with that test, we were like, let's focus on not the anaerobic as much, because the top end speed is quote there. It was more focused on that, like I needed to understand what marathon pace felt like, and sit there and be like, this is familiar, I'm comfortable here, and build that over time. And so now it's reflecting largely here that this is quite gentle, and then That's interesting. So like
Well,
the top end speed needs to be developed further now.
Yeah, the top end. I mean, the reason this is better just because you've done more volume of zone 2 stuff. Basically, that's why. And also, you're not so restricted on your zone 2 with heart rates. We realised from your first test, your zone 2 heart rates are higher than formulas and higher than anyone thought. So you've done proper zone 2 training, which is why that's better. This though, if I was coaching, I'd be giving you a lot more VO2 work, while still loads and loads of this stuff. Don't get me wrong, loads of this stuff and tinkering around here and making this even more sustainable. But that is 7-minute mile is always going to feel hard if 5:40 is your peak. If your peak's 5-minute mile, 7 doesn't feel as hard.
Right.
If your peak's 4-minute mile, 7 doesn't. So that's why we need the top end as well.
Okay, and then how with the steepness of the graph, is that good, bad? What do you want this to see?
Ideally,
to show?
this should get lower. I would really, if your peak is only 6.8, I would want you really at like 0.7 at these early stages, like lower lactate earlier, which would be indicative of more fat burning, and then higher lactate 9 at the end. So there's bigger range. There's like much more aerobic engine functioning and much more anaerobic engine. I want bigger ranges here,
Okay.
and then you're going to find the aerobic sustainable pace feels easier. And you'll have the biomechanics and top end VO2 to be able to run fast too. So you'll be a more complete athlete. This is good. Don't get you have to look at every speed. You have lower lactate and more pace. So 2 millimoles used to be at 7:25. Today it's 7-minute pace. 4 millimoles used to be at 6:45. Now you're at 6:20 pace. We've got huge gains. Heart rates are lower. Top end speed is higher. This is a big gain in 3 months, but there's still more to come. I do think you can definitely go sub 3 at this race, totally. But you've got to pitch it where you don't go too hard too early. So I'd say 7-minute mile, 3:03, even a tiny bit easier to start with, and then build in the second half, build faster, 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 faster.
So you thinking let's see, it's February 7th now, races in about 2.5, 3 months.
Yeah, you've got another phase of development to go. So still loads of zone 2 stuff, lots of target marathon pace stuff too. The zone 2 stuff can still be very, very easy because you want it to be very fat burning. You can do lots of really easy zone 2, lots of marathon pace specific work, some threshold work and some nasty VO2. But you can combine a lot of this stuff. This is still 80% of your training is still down here.
Okay.
Sodium's an interesting one. So you lost 21 fluid ounces of fluid and 920 milligrams of sodium. So you're in the sort of moderate range. You definitely need salts when you're exercising, like 21 fluid ounces an hour plus whatever's in your product.
Right.
That's what you need that. So if you think of your optimal race fuel mix, 21 fluid ounces an hour with about 900 milligrams of sodium with about 300 calories of carbohydrate. That's your perfect mix. Any more carbs and you'll slow the absorption down.
Say that one more time.
So 21 fluid ounces of water.
Yep.
900 milligrams of sodium and about 300 calories of carbohydrate. So 75 grams of carbs.
75 grams per hour.
Per hour, every hour. Any more than that carbohydrate wise, it's going to be too concentrated in your stomach and your stomach will shut down. If you had too much sodium, you're going to get dehydrated. It's going to change the fuel mix. In the heat, you might need a bit more fluid. I wouldn't push the sodium and definitely don't push the carbohydrates anymore. So if you ended up taking in 30 fluid ounces with this sodium and that carb, it'd be fine. But I wouldn't. I don't think we've got any evidence right now that you need more than 1,000 milligrams of sodium per hour.
Does it hurt if you go over 1,000? Let's
depends.
say loading into the race.
I wouldn't do that. I don't see any benefit to doing that. I think that's your mix that's measured. That's how you actually lose when you're exercising. If you were doing something, if it was at higher intensity, you might lose some more sodium. If it was super crazy hot, but I found even in the cold. Remember the Great World Race?
Right.
My girl was still losing basically the same salts and water at -12 as at 100 degrees. So it's person specific. They have about 500 milligrams of sodium and 200 milligrams of salt, right?
Oh, yeah.
So one of these.
200 milligrams of sodium, 500 milligrams of salt.
Yeah, but how many grams of... But if you're used to caffeine, and I am, but it's too much if you get too hot. So try it.
Yeah, I'll try it tomorrow on the run and see how... Because I take caffeine usually halfway on my run.
Yeah, that's fine.
But just one on a 17-miler. Because I'm also 3 cups deep before I go out.
Yeah, exactly. You need it.
Right.
Totally. It's true.
Okay, that's interesting. This is amazing. So this is like... Blood lactate and the science behind running and the lactate threshold test is showing that I am getting fitter.
Definitely, and it tells us what's happening. Because you could say, oh, I just ran a 5K and I ran 2 minutes faster than before. And you go, I'm fitter. And you go, what's fitter about you?
Right.
Oh, well, now I just ran faster. What's fitter?
Right.
What's actually fitter about you is you're aerobically more efficient because your lactate's lower. You're not anaerobically more developed at all because your peak lactate's the same. So all your gains are from aerobic sources, which is good, but your anaerobic energy needs training because it's like the hybrid engine where you're not using part of the engine. Right. But you're cardiovascularly fitter because your heart rate's lower, you're aerobically fitter because you're metabolically more efficient with lower lactate, and your VO2 max is improved. So we know what's improved, not just, well, I'm a bit faster. Mm-hmm. So we can say that block of training you did improved your aerobic fitness. Okay. So that's how you go back in the future years and say, let's run the formula again. Mm-hmm. Right? But you've now got very different heart rate zones. So in the past, your zone 2 would have let you go up towards 171. Now you're going to have to only up towards 160, but you're faster, so it won't matter to you. But you'll have
my zone 2 went up to 171.
Well, I can't remember in the past. I gave you 2. Okay, so you're one of these athletes who has 2 zone 2s, which is good. It's only advanced fast athletes who have this. What zone 2A is the easy extensive endurance, and that for you was to 160, and now it'll be up to like 150.
Okay.
Zone 2B is kind of marathon race pace. It's LT1 aerobic threshold range. It's around 2 millimoles, which of course used to be for you around 170. Now it's around 160. Right. So all your zones will have shifted down in heart rate, but up in pace, even though your peak heart rate's identical.
Same. Yeah. Okay.
It's all good stuff. You've definitely improved.
So if I were to go out for like a easy 8-mile zone 2,
you'd be up to 150, 155 at most.
Okay.
But there's benefits for you running in the 140s and 130s.
I'll call my wife. Go for a run with her.
Stroll around. Right, so I'll update your zone and send it to you. That's great.
This is incredible. This far away, we would just go like this and then go into like that.
No, forget it. High five.
Thank you. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you very much. No, honestly, this is incredible.
Great stuff.